Hi! It's been a little while since I made a video because I realized that no matter how much fun and easy and very simple things are, if I suddenly have to do them, they become work, and then I put it off and I procrastinate because I'm a bad person. Uh, this vlog, a lot of things happened this past week, and where to start? I guess I could start with I helped out at orientation day for honors freshmen, and I had to be a people person for a whole like 6 hours, and it was really exhausting. Being a people person is really hard. You have to like ask them questions and keep conversations going and facilitate conversations between other people, and it's all with a bunch of strangers and everybody's nervous and tense and so you have to just, exude positive energy. I can do that, but it's really, really tiring. Um, and then after that, I met up with a friend, and then we were gonna go shopping at this store near my campus, but then we saw on campus that there was a film crew, and there are film crews, every so often they like to film on Brooklyn College campus. This one in particular, though, was filming for this show, The Following, which is premiering in January on Fox. I was not paid to say that. Nobody's paying me. I broke. So this was for that show, and guess who was filming on campus? Right there! Yeah, it was, from the title of this video, you might have guessed it was Kevin Bacon, and, I don't know how familiar you are with Kevin Bacon, but, like, he's been in everything, and there's this game, 6 Degrees from Kevin Bacon, and people, everybody knows who he is, and he is, been around for a while, and he's super famous, and I think he's super talented, and really cool, and he was right there on campus, and they were just filming this shot over and over and over again of him walking this way, basically, and he's, being paid the big bucks to just stand there in his fancy suit that was way too fancy for any FBI agent to be wearing, but, it's Kevin Bacon in a suit, looking cool, and that was that shot over and over and over again. And yeah, and then he took a break at one point, and he was walking his dog. I'm pretty sure it was his dog. In between takes, and then he was walking with it and playing with it, and then of course the people had to come over and brush off his fancy suit with lint brushes and touch up his makeup and fix his hair, and I waved at him and he waved back, with this little super chill two-finger kind of wave, and yeah, so highlight of the week there. Yes, and I was with my friend Huzzah, and she lives under a rock, and she didn't know who he was, so she was like, yeah, I'm very glad that I don't know who this guy is, because I would be fangirling too, and now I just get to watch you fangirl, which is much, much more entertaining. And yeah, and I also I went around the set, because, as you know, the novel that I'm working on, it takes place in Hollywood, and a couple of the characters are major TV stars. So I went around the set and I asked a bunch of different people different questions, mostly just, can I ask what your job is, what you're doing here, what you do generally, what you're doing specifically today. Yeah, and just follow up whatever they say, with more questions and anything, that comes to mind that could be useful. And yeah, so the grip and electrical department is basically in charge of the lighting, and since the DP, the director of photography or cinematographer in fancy terms, they call him the DP, didn't really need them right then because they were going with basically natural lighting. There was not much for the grip department to be doing, so they were kind of sitting around with all their equipment. So I asked a bunch of them different questions, and I met the on-set scenic, who is basically, the makeup touch-up artist for the scenery, and I talked to the production assistant who explained that, like, I do a lot of yelling, and everybody's wearing headsets, and they, every so often, they yell cut, or rolling, or background, and it was cool. And I also met the guy on campus who was in charge of booking these things, and he gave me his email address, and We've been in touch, and he said that he's going to try and get me. He's going to keep me notified when they have more gigs like this on campus, and try to get me a job interning on the film set for the day that they're there. The next time something like this happens, so that I could do research for my book, which would be so exciting. And what else? So that was that day. And speaking of internships, my internship ended today. Not today, yesterday. Ended this week. Yesterday was my last day, and I got my last paycheck. And I finished up, and it was a really great experience, and I got paid for it, and it was a great office environment, and it's like, the interns, when you're an intern, you're the bottom of the food chain, but, nobody really expects much from you, so there's not much pressure, so I work very well when there's not much pressure, I guess. I also work pretty well under pressure, but it was just a really nice experience, and I got to do a lot of interesting things, and there's always more. And like on this last day, I used two completely different programs than I'd never seen before, and I had to basically learn a whole new set of things from scratch just on this one day, which is a bunch of skills that I will probably never use again, but it's fun that there was always more, and everything that I learned was only scratching the surface, and there's always more stuff to do, and it just, helps you appreciate the complexities of the world around you when there's always more. And yeah, so I hope you had a nice, eventful week, and I hope you'll tell me about it. Bye.